Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back. Tonight we are playing at a home game in the Hollywood Hills. We are playing 5-10 tonight, and this is probably the dopest home game that I have been to in terms of like looks and stuff like that. Today we got 5 tips for you. So the first tip I have for you guys, for the fish, for the new people, whoever it is do not limp. If you're limping, you're a fish. We don't want to be a fish, so do not limp. If you're limping, you probably should have folded. So just fold, either raise or fold, like pre-flop, you know what I mean? Do not limp when you're playing. There are exceptions to each of these tips that I'm going to give you, but they're probably not going to apply to you. So just listen to what I'm telling you. If you are limping, you are a fish. Do not limp, okay? Tip number 2 is bankroll management. Everybody talks about this, everybody knows about this, but it's actually very, very, very true. Like, the best advice anybody can ever give you is, are you a poker player or are you a gambler? If you don't have a minimum of 30 buy-ins for whatever game you are playing, you are a gambler, okay? 30 buy-ins minimum of whatever game you're playing. If whatever stakes you're playing, minimum 100 big blinds. If you are less than 100 big blinds, make sure you top off. So 100 big blinds, 30 buy-ins. So I'm playing 5-10, I buy in for 1,000, I must have a minimum of 30K. If I do not have a minimum of 30K, I'm gambling. We don't want to be gamblers, we want to be poker players. Basically ask yourself this question, am I gambling or am I a poker player? If you don't have a minimum of 30 buy-ins, you're a gambler. That's it, you're a gambler. Don't want to be a gambler? Change your habits and follow bankroll management. You should not be playing in a game if you are short buying. If you're playing in a game, have a minimum of 100 big blinds. If you don't have 100 big blinds on the table, you are a gambler. I don't care what you're gonna say to me, I don't care about the comments. I'm just telling you, you're a gambler if you have less than 100 big blinds. If you're playing with a bankroll with less than 30 buy-ins, you are a gambler. We are not gamblers. If you have a limp game in your play style, you're a fish. You don't want to be a fish? Well, great, change it. Don't fucking limp. Fold. You're playing fucking ace 10 offsuit under the gun, ace jack offsuit under the gun, king queen offsuit under the gun. Don't limp. Just fold, okay? Fold those trash hands. Early position. You want to play late position. Tip number 3, game selection. Game selection is super important. I know a lot of people don't have a lot of opportunity for game selection, but here in LA, which is the best place to play in poker in the United States, by far, 100%. I've been everywhere. Houston's pretty good. Florida's pretty good. Those are the ones that I would compare being close to good, but by far LA is the best. So game selection is very easy here in LA, but where you guys are from, you might not have the opportunity. So you want to at least have a couple targets on the table, targets of fish or whales that you are just only going to play against, and then against the tight players or nits or the pros, you want to definitely pot control them and just not try to get in big pots with them for the most part, because you're only going to make money off them if you're going to cooler them. So game selection is pretty important. When you sit down within the first hour, is what you need to do is you need to stereotype everybody, right? You have to stereotype in poker. I'm sorry, but you just got to do it, and you got to find out which players are your targets. Within the first hour, you need to be like, okay, who are you going to make money off of? Is it going to be hard to make money in this game, or is it going to be easy to make money in this game? I'm always like, okay, that guy's a huge fucking fish. I got to sit on that guy's left. That guy's a whale. That guy's a whale. This guy's a fish. Or this guy's a nit. Don't want to play any hands with nits. Don't want to play any hands with good players. Fuck that. I haven't started my game yet, but once we start playing, I already know of like one fish that's already on the table. I just have to, you know, watch how many hands people play, see what they're playing, see how the action went all the way to the river. Once I get all the information, once it goes to the showdown. Once it goes to showdown, you get to see what cards they're playing. You get to see what they bet, how much they bet on the flop. Was it 75%, 50%? Bet sizing is huge, and that goes into tip number 4. Oh yeah, so if you get a game, tip number 3, game selection. If you find a game, there's no fish on your table, or you can't find anybody that's like you're gonna make money off of, or if you're like, this is gonna be a hard game to make money, I'm only gonna win from just like coolering somebody, you should not be playing in the game, you should just leave. But sometimes you guys might not have the game selection to change games, you only have one table, so you might just have to play it out. But it's just better to just bounce, you know what I mean? You should always bring at least 3 to 5 buy-ins. For me, I'm good with 3. I bring 3 buy-ins to every single game. That's if you're able to leave when you're on tilt and stuff like that. Tip number 4 was going into, oh my god, I literally said tip number 4 and I already forgot it. What was tip number 4? Oh my god, dude, what was tip number 4? All right, I forgot what tip number 4 is, but here's some good advice for you. Most likely, most of the people watching this, or just poker players in general, there's less than 2% of poker players that are winning poker players. And it's not even because of poker, because poker is the easy part. The hard part about poker is just everything else that's outside of poker that involves in poker. So like bankroll management. You don't have bankroll management, you're a gambler, you're gonna lose. You don't have patience, you're gonna lose. You don't have discipline, you're 1,000% gonna lose, you know what I mean? So those are the hardest things in poker. Poker, the game is actually pretty easy. Tip number 4 now I remember is bet sizing, okay? Bet sizing is so important. Okay, I see so many fish do this. They don't know what, like, maybe they're just brand new or just huge whales. So like, pot will be like $500 and then they'll bet like $50 or $75. And that's not even value. That's just like, I don't know what I'm doing. I just grabbed some chips and put them out there. You know what I mean? I think bet sizing is very important. Everybody already knows the basics. Like, oh, I raised 3x, blah, blah, blah. Okay, but so you raise 3x in position, 4x out of position, plus an additional x per caller. Okay, does that make sense? Let's say under the gun raises 25, right? You got aces, so you're gonna 3-bet to 75. Okay, let's change it up a bit. Under the gun bets 25, under the gun plus 1 calls, under the gun plus 2 calls, so now we got 2 callers, right? So 25, 25, 25, we got aces, it's on to us. Now we're gonna raise it 75 plus each caller, 25 plus 25, 50. So now we're up to 125. So that's just basic sizing pre-flop, very, very easy. But let's say you're out of position. Let's say you're at the small blind. Same thing, under the gun bets 25, under the gun plus 1 bets calls 25, under the gun plus 2 calls 25, we're at the small blind. Now we're gonna make it 4x plus each caller. So 25 times 4, $100 plus each caller, 25 plus 25, 150 out of position. Those are just basic sizing, everybody knows that. Now let's go on to the flop. I think the flop, you guys should be betting, everybody has different opinions. Board dynamic definitely changes things a lot. I think you guys should be betting anywhere from 25% to 200% of the pot. You're like, 200%, god damn, that's huge. That's so gigantic. Like, what? How do you figure out when you want to bet, like, what amount? That is always changing, and the poker games are always changing. You should be betting like 25%. Like, for example, you flop quads and you're trying to get value, you know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna be betting like 25% for value. Also, when you bet little like that, when you bet 25%, it also induces players to make a raise. So if you want them to raise and you got a set, you got a full house, you flop the nut flush, you flop like the boys, you know what I mean? 25% is pretty good if you want somebody to raise, and it also gets you value. So you should be betting really small when you have like the stupid fucking nuts as well. There's also blocker bets, but we're not gonna talk about that kind of stuff. But for the most part, let's just keep it simple, and let's just be betting in between 50 and 75% of the pot pretty much all the time. This is just for beginner type stuff, so I would suggest betting 50 to 75%, and when you have really good hands, just bet more. There's such an in-depth bet sizing conversation that we can have for like 20 minutes, but I just want to keep this kind of more simple, so I would just highly suggest working on bet sizing. And tip number 5. Tip number 5 is I'm making up tip number 5 right now, but keeping track. Let's do that. Let's keep track of our stats. I write down everything. I don't even use one of the apps. I just write it down. I'm going to download one of the apps for sure that tells me how many hours I'm putting and how much money I'm making, because right now I just put down my hours and how much I'm making. Well, same thing, but like it's not in an app form. So tip number 5, I would keep track of everything, and I'm gonna give you guys my number as well. So my number's on my Instagram. If you guys ever want to text me and ask me questions about poker, we can talk all the time. Okay, so the basic things that I wanted to just talk in this video is, are you a gambler or are you a poker player? And it's basically, if you're not playing with 30 buy-ins, or if you're not buying in for a minimum of 100 big blinds, you are a gambler. And we're not gamblers, we're poker players, okay? So that's basically the advice I wanted to give on this video. If you want to text me and ask me questions about poker, anytime, no problem. I'll try to answer as many as I can. My number is on my Instagram page, and it'll be up by the time this video comes up. So feel free to shoot me a text. Follow me on Instagram, StickyRice1, and I'm gonna go inside. I think the table's ready. There's like a 5-10 game about to happen. On the other table, they're playing 25, 50, 100, so it's really fucking big. I can't afford that. Yeah, right, and we're not even gonna take a shot. Oh, do not take shots. Please do not take shots. I don't give a fuck what people say. Do not take shots. You're a gambler if you take shots. We're not gamblers, we're poker players. All right, I will see you guys in the next video.